Hey there! Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going back to the fascinating world of narcissism. And if you're thinking, what's so fascinating about that? Well, did you know that there are actually 4 types of narcissism? That's right, we're going to break them all down for you in this video. But before we get into that, I've got a little surprise at the end of the video. I'll be sharing 3 unusual hacks on how to deal with narcissistic people. So stick around until the end to find out. Welcome to our Wellness Lenses, where we talk about the journey to self-development. Without further ado, let's dive in. First off, let's talk about what narcissism is. It is a personality trait that's characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. People with narcissistic tendencies tend to overestimate their own abilities, crave attention and admiration, and often lack the ability to connect with others emotionally. We have several videos on this topic already, so we'll link them below. Moving on to the types of narcissism. The first type is grandiose narcissism. This is the classic image we have in our heads when we think of this personality disorder. Someone who thinks they're better than everyone else, demands attention and admiration, and will do anything to maintain their grandiose image. For example, that coworker who constantly brags about their accomplishments, dismisses others' opinions, and expects everyone to follow their lead. This is a classic example of grandiose narcissism in action. So what causes grandiose narcissism? While there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question, it's believed that a combination of genetic, environmental, and social factors can contribute to the development of this personality trait. Individuals who grow up in households where they are constantly praised and rewarded for their achievements may develop a grandiose sense of self-importance. Additionally, a lack of empathy or emotional support from caregivers can lead to a lack of empathy later in life. Overall, grandiose narcissism can have a significant impact on an individual's personal and professional relationships. People with this personality trait may struggle to form meaningful connections with others and may even push people away with their demanding behavior. I need you to understand that grandiose narcissism is not just an exaggerated sense of self-confidence or self-esteem. It's a real psychological disorder that can have serious consequences for individuals and those around them. People with this kind of narcissism may struggle with depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues as a result of their disorder. Next up, we have vulnerable narcissism. This type of narcissist may seem like the opposite of grandiose narcissism because they often appear humble and self-effacing. However, they have an underlying sense of entitlement and lack of empathy that makes them just as dangerous as grandiose narcissists. First, people with vulnerable narcissism have a deep sense of insecurity and low self-esteem, which they try to mask by projecting an air of superiority and entitlement. They may seem like they have it all together on the surface, but deep down, they're afraid that they're not good enough. Another trait of vulnerable narcissism is a tendency to be hypersensitive to criticism and rejection. These people are easily hurt by negative feedback or perceived slights and may become defensive or aggressive in response. This is because they feel like any criticism is a direct attack on their fragile sense of self-worth. So why is vulnerable narcissism worth discussing? Well, for one thing, it can be a major source of dysfunction in relationships. People with vulnerable narcissism may demand constant reassurance and attention from their partners, which can be exhausting and draining. They may also be quick to anger or blame others for their problems, which can make it difficult to resolve conflicts. An example of vulnerable narcissism might be a person who is constantly seeking validation from their friends and coworkers. They may brag about their accomplishments or belittle others to make themselves feel superior, but deep down, they're afraid that they're not as successful or talented as they seem. When someone criticizes them or disagrees with them, they may become defensive or lash out in response. Before we move on to the third type of narcissism, if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that subscribe button for more content like this. It would really help our channel grow, so we can make even more videos for you. The third type is communal narcissism. This type is a little different from the first two. Communal narcissism may appear selfless and caring, but their motivations are often centered around receiving praise and recognition for their altruistic deeds. They have an intense need to be seen as a good person and will often use their supposed selflessness to manipulate others. Imagine a group of college alumni who believe that their alma mater is the best school in the country and that being associated with that school makes them better than anyone who didn't attend it. They may constantly boast about their school's achievements, put down their schools, and seek out recognition and admiration from others for their association with that school. While communal narcissists may appear to be more altruistic than other narcissists, as they are focused on the success of their group rather than just themselves, their behavior is still rooted in a sense of entitlement and a need for validation and admiration. They are often quick to dismiss or devalue anyone who is not part of their group or who does not share their beliefs. And we have to talk about this because it's becoming increasingly prevalent in our society, especially with the rise of social media and the ability to connect with others who share our interests and beliefs. And while it may seem harmless, communal narcissism can lead to polarization and division, as people become more and more focused on their own group's success and less concerned with the well-being of society as a whole. Finally, we have malignant narcissism. This is the most extreme and dangerous type of narcissism. Malignant narcissists have all the traits of grandiose narcissists, but with an added element of cruelty and sadism. They take pleasure in causing pain and suffering to others, and have a complete lack of empathy or remorse for their actions. What happens when narcissism takes on a more sinister form is exactly what malignant narcissism is. Malignant narcissists have a cruel and aggressive nature, and they are more likely to engage in manipulative behaviors, lie, cheat, or even commit crimes to get what they want. Another distinguishing feature of malignant narcissists is that it often involves paranoia and a need for control. These individuals may see themselves as victims of a world that doesn't appreciate their greatness and may lash out aggressively if they feel their power or control is being threatened. The easiest way to put it would be to say that malignant narcissism is the particularly toxic and destructive form of narcissism. It's characterized by a combination of narcissistic, sadistic, and antisocial traits, and it can have serious consequences for both the individual and those around them. So there you have it, the 4 types of narcissism. Now, if you've ever had to deal with a narcissistic person, you know how challenging it can be. That's why we've got a bonus for you today. Narcissistic people are preoccupied with their own needs and often lack empathy for others. But don't worry, there are some strategies you can use to handle them. Hack number 1 is to avoid triggering their insecurities. Narcissistic people often have fragile egos and can be easily triggered by criticism or perceived slights. To avoid triggering them, try to be empathetic and listen to their perspective before sharing your own. You can also try to praise them for their accomplishments or strengths to boost their self-esteem. Hack number 2 is to set boundaries. They may try to manipulate or control others to get their way. Setting boundaries can help you protect your own needs and prevent them from taking advantage of you. Be clear and assertive when stating your boundaries, and don't be afraid to say no when necessary. Finally, focus on the solutions rather than emotions. Narcissistic people can be skilled at manipulating emotions to control a situation. Instead of getting caught up in their drama, try to focus on finding a solution to the problem at hand. Stay calm and logical, and don't let their emotional outbursts distract you from your goal. Remember, dealing with narcissists can be challenging, and it's important to protect your own needs and well-being. And if you want to learn more about narcissism, check out my previous videos on the topic. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you found our content helpful. See you soon.